All right, guys, welcome everyone. I am joined today by the amazing Luke Scott. So, Luke is a speaker trainer and he's also an entrepreneur and success mentor. Very
Ooh,
fancy.
sounds fancy.
So, do you want to? Hi, Luke. Thank you. Thanks for coming on and joining me, chatting with me today. Do you want to tell the guys, tell the audience watching a bit more about what it is you do?
Yeah, very quickly. So if you want to be an awesome speaker, I train you on how to do that. Also how to make it into a, because a lot of people speak all the time. They do loads of Facebook videos, but they don't know the business side. I combine that. But everything I do is place. So do you know those speakers who get on stage and they just bullshit for like 60 minutes, 90 minutes and then sell something that doesn't actually work? That's what I don't like. So I teach you how to be authentic and just everything you say is genuine and then sell products that people actually want.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, no, that's really cool. So, how did you? It's interesting. Like, you're the first speaker trainer or something that I've like come across. It's interesting.
Mhm.
What kind of got you into all of this? Why are you so passionate about it?
Because I've done all the speaker training courses and there's always been something missing. And then I was basically when you're starting out, you just model people, right? If you want success, you model success.
Yeah.
I was modeling all these people, but it wasn't really resonating with me because the stuff they were teaching me was like how to close more people, how to get better conversions, all this kind of stuff. And none of it was actually about helping people, like really.
Yeah.
And I've done pretty much all the speech training courses and they're all just focused on that. And so for me, it was like there's a massive ingredient missing here, which is authenticity. So I was like, I can do this better.
That's really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's cool. And so, how do you kind of teach that? You mentioned you have programs and things to me earlier.
First thing I do is most people don't even know what they want or who they are. They really don't. So that's the first thing we have to do is really understand who you are because I think you're different because you had a similar kind of upbringing to me. But most people they just want what their parents have told them they want or schools told them they want or stuff like that. And so they're like, yeah, I want to make $1 million or $1 million Australian or wherever you are.
Yeah,
and
Australia.
and they don't even know why.
Yeah,
Say that's their big driver, but they don't even know why. There's just so much bullshit, just and belief systems and all this BS. Like they really don't even know what they want, and then they're asking like, "Oh, why is the universe not bringing me what I want?"
yeah,
But they're not even clear on what they want in the first place. So yeah, a big thing I do is I help people really connect with themselves, which so far I've not seen any other speaker trainer do.
yeah. That's so cool. So, like, getting people to that's a similar thing that I do actually. It's like getting people to, except for I don't teach speaking, but like getting people to tap into that, to their true authentic selves, and like tap into that space of power and being, and then starting to live in alignment with that, and then create everything from there. So, like, not
Perfect.
speaking, right?
Yeah, perfect. Well, you teach people that, and then send them on my program, and then that'll be perfect. You save me.
Perfect, done. New partner just made right here on an interview.
Awesome.
That's really cool. Yeah, no, that's seriously cool. I love, I just wanted to mention quickly, I loved, it was a couple of days ago, I was doing that live feed and you were on it. And what were you talking about? We were talking like about alignment and all of this stuff and, like manifestation and and then Luke said, you said, like a little comment in the messages about um like, oh yeah, we're the weird ones that believe in all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, the people who don't believe in that kind of stuff are the weird ones. Like, it's
I like
such a
I
thing.
like being weird. I would hate to be normal. That would be like worse than death. Don't ever make me normal.
Exactly. And like, what is normal? If the people that you surround yourself with, that becomes your normal. So it's like, yeah,
I
cool.
like my weird and wonderful friends. They're cool.
Sorry.
I like all my weird and wonderful friends. They're all cool.
Yeah, weird and wonderful thing. Crazy in a good way, I like to say. Yeah, that's cool. So do you want to, so obviously another thing we were chatting about, offline was, how sometimes these, like, we go through certain experiences in life, and at the time they can be such a, what I call perceived negative, like they're very challenging, they can be painful, but then they turn into these like really powerful lessons if we choose, and that actually leads us more to our life purpose and to actually do what we're truly kind of passionate about. So did you have like an experience maybe in a lesson you learnt, or that's kind of interlinked with what you're doing now, or made you really passionate about what you're doing now, or that you'd like to share?
Sure. Yeah, of course. I strongly believe that as souls, we come here for a reason. We already know what we want to experience in this lifetime. So what we have to do in our childhood and through our upbringing is we basically have to experience the opposite of whatever it is we want to teach people in this lifetime. So,
Yes.
So if you want to teach kindness and love and compassion, most of the time you'll find in your childhood you get abused, you get abandoned, you get those kind of things. So you can learn that that's not who you are, and then you can step into your true power. So yeah, for me, it was very much that kind of story. So my dad was a drug addict and was in prison most of my life. And my mum abandoned me when I was a kid. So very much that theme of I'm on my own, no one loves me. That kind of, and growing up around drugs and violence and those kind of things, that was my upbringing. Now, what that in retrospect is a lot about finding yourself. Because when everything's going great, you don't really reflect on much. It's really tough. That's all you have, right? Is you just have a lot of time by yourself to think. And it's only been very recently, in the last few years, that I've really understood why those things happened.
Yeah.
But my kind of soul frequency, what I'm here to do is consciousness and just help people, be kind, and just give unconditional love. That's what I feel. And so I always say, to know who you are, you have to know who you're not.
Yeah.
So if you want to know what light is, you have to know what dark is. If you want to know what good is, you have to know what evil is. And so when you're younger, you do these things to prove that you are. So for me, I used to do a lot of fighting, drugs, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I had to find out that's not who I was. Yeah. And now I know that that's not me, and I would never fight anyone now, So I couldn't even imagine it. I just love them. I just love them. Yeah. So I really believe anyone who's been through anything tough in their childhoods, it's for a reason. And now it empowers you to help people who are going through the same thing. But I also believe that people who are on this planet to do genuine good, we choose harder lives for ourselves. So before we come here, we actually physically choose that kind of tough life for ourselves, because then we know it can help more people. People who have never really experienced much in their life, there's not a whole lot of people they can help.
No. No, because you just learn such incredibly powerful lessons, and you just grow so much as a person when you go through those challenging experiences. And
and it's one of the biggest shifts I do. I also do energy healing. So it's one of the biggest with my clients is they come to me with really bad things, being raped, being abused, all that kind of stuff. And what we very quickly do is shift it from that kind of feeling sorry for themselves and victim mindset to looking at it from the eyes of the soul. So why did this have to happen? Yeah. What's the gift in that situation? Yeah. Because one of the hard things for people to understand that I've come to know is we literally ask for anything that happens to us. Like physically, we make contracts before we come here in Soul Kingdom. We make contracts for all that stuff. So we ask other souls to do these horrible things to us so we can have that experience. So when I work with people and get them to see things through the eyes of the soul, very quickly we go from that victim mindset to, okay, now it empowers them. And then straight away, boom, all the trauma's gone.
Yeah, no, definitely. It is so cool. I just love connecting with such like-minded people. It's seriously, seriously cool. So I think that, you know, when you first kind of, this is like another thing, I guess, for people that are wanting to make changes and perhaps like, you know, become entrepreneurs or really venture out and going to that deeper level of really like listening to their soul's calling and, you know, listening to what they're called to do. It can be like a very challenging time, and you can feel quite lonely because like what I noticed personally, and I know like a lot of my friends did as well who have been through this, is like transitioning is, you know, a lot of your old friends and the people from your old environment are going to start filtering out because you're just going to change. You start to change your vibe like energetically, and you just start to want different things, and so they just kind of start filtering out. And in the beginning it can feel like, oh, it's lonely, or am I really doing the right thing? But I just always say like listen and keep going, and you're going to create space for, you know, more amazing like-minded people to actually come into your life. And that's what I've totally found is like,
Yeah, me too. I think as soon as I call it waking up. I feel like that's my how wake people up, like just give them that little shake. I find as soon as you do wake up, then you start attracting these people because they've just woke up. But you have to, like I said, you have to know who you're not, so you can know who you are. So you have to go through that period of your life where you're lost and confused. People have to hit rock bottom as well before they wake up and change. You know, it's a real shame because I know I can help people before they get to rock bottom, but so many people still have to go there because that's just part of the journey, and it's tough to see sometimes. But ultimately, when I see someone and I know they're at their absolute lowest, I'm actually quite happy for them because I know there's only one way they can go, and if they're ready, they can wake up and then they can have this whole other side to life.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's really cool. That's like, yeah.
I'm a bit of a weird healer as such. I mean, one of my great friends came to me and told me they were abused, like raped by their dad for years, and I started smiling. I couldn't help it. I wasn't conscious. It just like wouldn't go down. I was like, stop.
Yeah.
But I was smiling because my soul knew I could help them.
Yeah.
Because they were telling me all these bad things that had happened, and I knew that they'd been brought to me for this reason because I could then help show them why it happened to them. And so, yeah, if anyone's having a healing session with me and I start smiling when you tell me something horrendous, it's just because actually it's perfect that that's happened to you, and now I know I can help
you. Yeah, no, I totally get that because it's a similar kind of thing. Like with my clients when they're having a kind of they're going through a period where they're like, oh my God, everything's a mess right now and I'm just so emotional. And I'm like, that's good. Like, it's actually a good thing. Like, you're cleansing, like you're emotionally and energetically like cleansing and letting go. I like to call it shedding, like letting go of stuff that no longer serves you. And you're just declaring like, hey, I want to move forward in my life and get to that next level. So I think it's totally a positive thing.
So, one of my friends, when I phoned this morning, he's like, "Oh man, I've just been crying all night. I don't know why." I'm like, "That's good. That's good." Ask why.
And they look at you like you're fucking crazy.
Oh, there's a super moon coming in the next couple of days and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff going down. It's going to bring feelings in people and
yeah.
So if you are finding you're crying over the next couple of days, it's totally normal. Just ride it out, feel into it, and ask why. Embrace it. Crying's good.
Right now, it's a crazy moon. What did you?
Yeah, there's a super moon coming on Wednesday in the UK. So, like when the moon's at its biggest, we've had three of them already over the past couple of months.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, you know how the moon affects the tides so much? It
Yes.
does the same with the water and the energy in our body. So when the moon's really close to Earth like that and it's really big, it brings up all the energy, all the stuff from the past, and it's a great time for you to just let go of those things.
Wow. That's so true because I've definitely definitely been experiencing that the last couple months. As you say, like yeah, there was an amazing moon here, the super moon. Well, it's all the same moon, but same in the UK and Australia. But yeah, no, I've definitely been experienced that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Um,
2016 was a lot of stuff about letting go. There's a big theme. I don't know if you've experienced it too, but so many people let go of old relationships. So many people let go of old beliefs. So many people this year woke up like it was massive. And it's really set the scene for 2017 because now, basically, anything you want, you can manifest in 2017. It's a very powerful year for manifesting.
yes, I totally feel that as well. Definitely, definitely.
So if your 2016 has been rough, it's been for a good reason.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good message. And I guess like I don't know how much time we've got left on here, but just touching back on, like you had a very challenging upbringing, and what was it that really made you start to, I don't know, like I guess choose lightness instead of darkness? Like what really made you decide to, look at the bigger picture and start being a better.
I met one person who totally changed my life. I met her on a course about public speaking, actually. And she started asking me all these weird questions, which no one had ever asked me before in my whole life. She was asking me, like, what are my dreams? Like, what are my goals? Like, what do I actually want from my life? And I
Yeah.
was just like, no one had ever asked me that before. I was really confused. and then, and she started asking me about my family and what my childhood was like. And then I just was crying all the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get it, but no one had ever taken an interest in me before.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we basically were at this event for 3 days. And every time she just making me cry, cry, cry. And I just had this massive awakening because all the people I met were all coaches, healers, stuff like that. They were all just crazy talking about happiness and things, and it's really weird. Like me and my friends just used to talk about football and beer and girls and what parties we were going to go to.
Yeah. The
And
typical.
there's all these people talking about happiness, but also talking about being abused and stuff as well, just around the dinner table.
Wow.
And contrast for me. One second we were all crying because we were talking about the worst things that ever happened. Next second we were all laughing and, telling each other they love each other even though they've just met.
Yes.
What is this? Who are these crazy people and how can I get involved?
Yeah.
But it just showed me what a sham life I was living before. It was just so empty.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. That's really cool. That's really powerful. And so I guess, both of us were all about adding massive value. And I guess I'd love to hear, like, would you like to share, I guess for people who are really wanting to make 2017 an awesome year and listen to their soul's calling and, whatever that looks like for them, maybe become an entrepreneur or whatever it is, what kind of advice would you have or key tips would you have, things that you've done maybe?
Okay. Okay. The first thing
Already, but more.
the first thing that every successful entrepreneur does, okay, and I mean every successful entrepreneur does that most people don't do, is they spend a portion of every single day in total silence.
Yeah.
It's time just to connect with yourself. It's time to just reflect. It's time to just understand who you are. Now, whether you do that as meditation or what I teach people a lot is meditation's too hard for most people when they first start out. They just can't, they don't know how to do it, right? So I just teach people, get a notepad and a pen and just stay by yourself in your room for 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is, just in total silence, no distractions, and just ask yourself these two questions. So the first question is to ask yourself, what do I really want? And it's really important to say, what do I really want? Because you probably think you want a lot of things, but you don't. So what do I really want? And then the next question is, why do I want it? And if you don't have a good reason why you want it, then you don't really want it. Now, after doing that for like 15 minutes a day for a month, you'll just know who you are, because you'll know exactly what you want, know exactly what your values are, exactly why you want it. There's a whole like another 6 questions you can ask as well, you know. I'll say for people on my program, but basically they're the most important thing.
Yeah.
And it just helps cut through all the bullshit. But actually, most people are so busy, they never spend any time to really get to know themselves.
Yes, totally. And I that's something so funny. I was just thinking about that today, and I posted about it a couple of days ago, is like people, it's actually kind of a bit freaky, because I think people need to be careful of like, well, are you busy? Are you being busy just being busy? Or are you being busy actually creating the life you want to create, you know? Because it's so easy for people to say, I'm busy, I'm running around. And then they're kind of, but when they take a step back and look at their lives, it's like, oh, I'm just living this mediocre life, and it's not the life I actually want to live.
And this is one of the biggest things that I disagree with what most speakers say. Most speakers talk about hustle and grind and work 100-hour weeks and all that kind of stuff. And there's a time for doing that. But if most people just start hustling and grinding and they're doing it on the wrong thing, they're just totally wasting their life and they'll burn themselves out. So what I teach people is first, the opposite. First is to stop. First is to let go. First is to understand yourself and what you really want. And then the universe will start bringing people to you. It'll start bringing opportunities to you that are aligned with what you're here to do. Because how I talk about it is, our body is our vehicle. It's like a car, okay? And our soul is the driver. So our soul knows exactly where it's going. It's got everything planned out. But then we have our ego, our personality, which is like the playing passenger, that backseat driver who keeps telling it where to go and grabbing the steering wheel. And I want to do this. I want to go party. I want to go do that.
Yeah.
You know? I'm supposed to spend 2 years doing this business idea. And that's all. Yeah. No, it's not. No, come on. Okay, well, you can try it, but it's not going to work.
My taxi driver's loud. Yeah. Yeah. I know.
And it's only when you quiet down the past, then you can actually, your soul will tell you exactly where you're going. And then once you've found out what you are actually aligned with, then absolutely you have to hustle. Then you have to grind. But it's not. It doesn't really feel like work because you love what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you can work 12 hours a day and still be super energized.
Yeah.
But if you work 12 hours a day doing something you don't love, like I was in corporate for 6 years, or spreadsheets, yeah.
Oh God. Yeah.
Miserable. But I was a sales coach and a sales trainer, so that was actually really good practice for me, for my speaking and coaching and stuff. Really helped.
No, yeah, definitely. I actually one of the quotes I made with or things that I like to say is hustle with flow. So it's
yes.
Like there's no point hustling if you're out of alignment. And when you get into alignment and then you hustle, stuff just flows. It's like, yeah, as you said, exactly what you said. Yeah. It's really
But you have to teach people how to get aligned with their flow first, because most of them don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. And it sounds like that's what you do, and that's totally what I do as well. Yeah, that's where everything begins. Well, that's really, really cool. So it's funny because it says that even though I can hear you, it says you're muted. Zoom's playing up. Anyway, it's been really, really cool. Thank you so much. I think, yeah, you've added massive value. And thank you so much for opening up and sharing your story and giving us a bit of insight as to how you got through it as well. It's really, really cool. And I really appreciate it.
No, thank you. And if any of your friends in Australia run events or anything and you want some cool speakers, I've literally got like 15 speakers who are primed and looking for gigs, all different kind of topics. So yeah, if anyone's looking for some cool UK speakers, you want to get them over to Australia, whatever, then absolutely look me up. So best way to get me is on Facebook. It's Luke Scott. Or you can go on my website, which is lukescottofficial.com. So lukescottofficial.com. And yeah, we'd love to hear from you. So I wouldn't say I'm an agent, but yeah, kind of a bit of a middleman. So if there are, I'd love to come over too. I've never been to Australia before, so but I'm meeting a lot of cool Australian people. So
yeah, cool. Well, funny thing, I'm actually a Kiwi. I just moved over here myself, but
okay,
the Australian people, we would love to have you here. And
I'll come to New Zealand too. That's a cool place.
New Zealand is really cool as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And are you also you're on Twitter and Instagram and things as well? People can follow.
Yes, Instagram is Luke Scott Success. Twitter not so much. Haven't really needed that one yet. Facebook's just so good for me gets me everything. Yeah, I've never really needed it. But one of my one of my speaking mentees is Australian. He's out in Brisbane, that place.
Brisbane?
Yeah.
It's an hour drive from where I am.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so he's in Australia, so I'm going to be flying him over to the UK soon.
Oh, perfect. That's so cool. Maybe I'll come with him. I'll just
Hey,
jump on Brisbane and jump on in his suitcase and come. Wow, that's cool. Well, thank you so much, and it's been a real pleasure. And I look forward to chatting to you again soon. I'm sure it will be soon. Thank you so much, Luke. Bye.